So Drake might be forced to answer questions about late rapper XXXtentacion's murder. Let's talk about it. My name is Jamal Kersey. I'm the principal attorney at Kersey Law, a boutique criminal defense firm in San Diego, California. And the trial for the murder of XXXtentacion recently got underway. Rest in peace to the late rapper. And there are three men who are on trial for his murder. And this is Dedrick Williams, Michael Boatwright, and Trayvon Newsome. Now, there was a fourth guy, Robert Allen, who has already pled guilty to second-degree murder, and he's agreed to testify for the prosecution. Now, these guys are facing life in prison, right? And as the defense attorney in any case, but especially a murder case where your client is facing up to life in prison, if there's any sort of evidence that's out there that might be pointing to another person being responsible for a killing, then you're certainly going to want to investigate that, right? You're going to have your investigators go and see if they can uncover any evidence pointing to another person. And ideally, you'd like to present that at trial, right? So we're gunning for reasonable doubt. If we can demonstrate that it was another person who is responsible for the crimes with which your client is being charged, then now you're creating reasonable doubt. And that's exactly what's happening here. Apparently, XXXtentacion and Drake may have had some problems in the past based on some claims that Drake might have bit XXX's style. And so just 4 months before XXX was killed, he had posted on his IG that if anyone tries to kill me, it was at Champagne Poppy. I'm snitching right now. And, let me clarify, it came from his account because ultimately, obviously that's a serious allegation, serious accusation to post, on your Instagram. And something that people just generally don't play about. But it should be noted that XXXtentacion had deleted the post and he said he was hacked. And so he didn't actually post it himself, right? And it's possible that there was some sort of tech savvy fan who got into his account and was just trying to be funny. But the fact that XXXtentacion lost his life just a mere 4 months after the post makes the post all the more suspicious. Dedrick Williams' attorney basically doing his job, he wants to talk to Drake personally under oath about it, so he basically scheduled a deposition. And if you didn't already know, depositions usually happen in civil cases, but in some states they can happen in criminal cases as well. And basically, it's a question and answer session under oath. So it's not in court, so you don't have a jury and a judge there. It usually takes place in an office, like a conference room. And nowadays you can have a deposition via Zoom. There's going to be a court reporter there taking down everything that's being said. And then after the deposition is done, there'll be a transcript of what has been testified to. And so generally it's going to be part of the discovery process, which is basically the exchange of information, the prosecution providing their information to the defense, so the police reports, videos, photographs, whatever evidence they have. And then the defense also has an obligation to provide discovery to the prosecution to the extent that they have any. And so depositions can be part of the discovery process, which is the, gathering of information. And so a deposition, even though it's not in court, is certainly official, right? The person is testifying under oath. So Dedrick Williams' attorney, in deposing Drake, would be able to ask Drake specific questions about his potential involvement in the case. And so to the extent this could be even remotely incriminating for Drake, and outside of that post that came from XXXtentacion's account, it doesn't appear that there's any other information that would tie Drake to this murder. But again, to the extent that it could even be remotely incriminating for Drake, he would have the right to remain silent and exercise his Fifth Amendment rights. And Drake, he's in a ridiculous financial space, so I'm sure he has a whole team of lawyers, all of whom could advise him as to what his rights are, with respect to testifying, should that, come to fruition. Drake was actually scheduled to appear at a deposition. He apparently failed to appear. and that deposition has been rescheduled. If he misses this date, the judge has ordered that he appear in court on February 27th, or he could be charged with contempt. And so Williams' lawyer had brought up in his opening statement that the detectives basically never looked into Drake as a suspect. Again, despite this post from XXXtentacion's account, the lawyer saying that the detectives never sought to interview him, and basically cites this as lazy or sloppy police work, right? Because presumably detectives should look into any and all leads when you have a homicide. But generally speaking, I mean, once the police feel like they have their suspects, they're not going to pursue alternative theories like that. And so as Williams seeks the possibility of shifting the blame to Drake, the defense attorneys have their hands full with Robert Allen's testimony, which is seeming to be a problem for the defense. So Allen was asked under oath by prosecutors for the details as to what happened on the date in question. And so he had testified that he, Boatwright, Newsome, and Williams, they were together when Williams saw XXX go into Riva Motorsports. XXX was apparently motorcycle shopping that day, and this is just a sad story. Obviously, XXXtentacion was, looking to enjoy the fruits of his labor. He apparently had a nice little bag with him, was going to spend some money on a motorcycle, and unfortunately, folks plotted on him and ultimately killed him. And so Allen basically testified that Williams had pointed to a BMW that was outside of this motorcycle dealership and said, hey, that's XXX's car. He had apparently recognized it from Instagram posts. And so Allen ends up going in to the shop to verify that it was in fact XXX. And so Allen, through his testimony, basically walks through the steps of how they planned to cut XXXtentacion off at the pass and how they carried out the robbery and the subsequent murder. And so, the defense just has their hands tied with this testimony. When it comes to snitches, it just is really difficult for the defense because it's just hard to contradict their testimony, right, man? You can point out, how they stand to gain, right? They're looking to get a lesser charge based on their cooperation, or less time in jail, or less time in prison, right? And that could, right, on some level have some sort of impact on why they're testifying. But at the end of the day, it's really difficult to refute the substance of what they're saying because most of the time it's true, right? And part of the agreement that people end up having when they flip and become state's witness is that everything that they say in their interview with the police and the DA has to ultimately check out. So law enforcement is going to take the information that they provide and they're going to go and do further investigation to make sure that it's true. And then when the person has to testify, they also have to agree to tell the truth, because if they don't tell the truth, then that can be a violation of their agreement. And, now they've done all of that for nothing. So it then just becomes extremely difficult to refute the testimony of a snitch. You can try and attack them all you want as a defense attorney, but ultimately they're generally going to come off as credible because they say that, hey, I was there. They're given the play-by-play of what they lived with the individuals that they're snitching on. So as a defense attorney, again, you have to look into any evidence that might point to your client's innocence or might point to someone else as being responsible for the crime. And so, you could definitely argue that Williams' attorney in going after Drake is doing his job, but let me know what you think. Do you think that this is just, kind of trying to throw anything at the wall and hoping it sticks, or might there be something to it? Let me know in the comments below. Again, it's just another tragic loss of life for another rapper. So, I offer my thoughts and prayers to XXXtentacion's family, his friends, loved ones, and fans. And that's going to be it for this video. So if you got something out of this, please show me some love and hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a new video when it drops. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.